Hey everybody over at NFT Kings, my name is Matt and welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys exactly what is going on with Decentraland, including a pattern that honestly just reeks to me. I mean, this is just so cut and dry. I've never seen anything like it. So if you guys are new, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let's get right into it, folks. So if you guys have not already seen what Mana here is doing, we are at a 2.73 price target here with a market cap of around $5 billion. The volume here is down a great deal over the past 24 hours at around $1.5 billion. This is not particularly bad because, again, it seems as if the volume decrease in this instance has been relatively consistent. So the volume decrease is not just for sell volume. We are also losing some buy volume. It's about evened out. So definitely nothing tragic here going on with the volume. Now, when it comes down to our graph here, guys, this is such a textbook example of something I think you guys are going to like very, very much. So when we look at this graph here, you guys can see this is a clockwork consolidation right here between the $3 price target and the $2.70 price target. And I foresaw something like this happening a couple of days ago. I said it is very possible that Monica just consolidate between this price range and we have no issues in the future because we just stick between around 250 and 3. That was my prediction, and it was sort of right because we landed between 270 and 3. Now, this speaks to me in a sense because it is what you could say a very clockwork example of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So when we look at this, guys, you all can see this is essentially what an inverse head and shoulders pattern kind of looks like. There are a lot of instances of this, and sometimes the bottom is a little bit more jagged. In this instance, it is not quite as jagged of a bottom, but the idea here is that we have a dip here, which is being supported by two shoulders with a neckline that is essentially what we have to break out of. So when we look at this, you guys can see it is very clearly here, I think definitely pertaining to this example here with more of a rounded bottom. Again, they are close. In some of these examples, it's a little bit more jagged, but this is an example of a more rounded bottom. But you guys can see this looks extremely, extremely close to what we are seeing. So we have a little bit of rounding here. On the bottom, we have the shoulder here and the shoulder here, and essentially the breakout line that I'm seeing is somewhere around here, somewhere around the $3 mark. And again, this is not going to look exactly like this. That's something that, when it comes to looking at charts like this, it takes you a long time to kind of get the idea of. You have to try to find what it looks closest to because it never really goes exactly as this textbook example would show. But essentially, we have to try to find something that looks as close to the current movement as possible. And again, the thing that I am seeing that looks as close as possible is the inverse head and shoulders. So we have the rounded head here at the bottom, the shoulder here, which could kind of be drawn with a breakout line a little bit above around the $3 mark. So what I'm seeing here is, again, every time we go to kind of push that 3 mark, it gets rejected. Literally every time. You guys can see it does that. Even on the third here, it goes a little bit above the 3, heads back down. Same thing, goes a little to the 3, heads down again. Same thing, goes to the 3, heads down, goes to the 3, heads down. So it does this in a ridiculous amount of instances, but regardless, I definitely don't think this is a bad thing, rather a promising look for the future and definitely good. Speaking of things that are definitely good, guys, make sure to check out Webull, folks. Top of the link down below in the description. It is so easy to do. If you guys want to get started trading stocks, crypto, all that good stuff, including Shiba Inu, including Decentraland, whatever you guys like. Mana actually might not be on there, but definitely do check. I think it is, but definitely do check if it's not. Ethereum, Bitcoin, I know, of course, all the main guys are on there, including the stock market too, so I definitely do think that Webull is kind of well-rounded because you have access to both. So if you guys have not already done so, check it out with my link down below in the description. Do let me know if Decentraland's on there. I think it is, but definitely do check for me. But Webull, top of the link down below in the description, folks. When it comes down to it, guys, again, what I am seeing here is a very bullish outlook because, as you guys can see, once it succeeds in getting past this sort of neckline, we see two things happen. We see an increase in the volume, and we see a breakout in the price. So when we take a look at the volume here, this volume would probably go up an awful lot. We'd probably be back to around $5 billion in volume. That would be my personal guess. And of course, this market cap would go up a good deal. I think things would be very solid. I could see volume at least hitting $3 billion if that was the case. And that definitely would be solid, I think, for a lot of people. So that is what I expect in that instance, and that could very easily be quantified by, again, some kind of neckline, some kind of overall resistance line, which looks to be right around 3, and if that happens, if we're able to break through that, you could very much see a bullish outlook, which would be excellent, and this, to me, is how Shiba Inu could, or how Mana Decentraland could hit $5. I talk about SHIB a lot, so I get them mixed up, but that is how Decentraland, in my opinion, could hit $5, because this kind of a breakout would really be engineered. I mean, this has been going for a good week or so, and I see no reason why this could slow down. Now, if we are to again move beyond the idea of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, you would say this just looks like a consolidation. I mean, seriously, this just looks like a nice, long, very stable period of consolidation with very little deviation. Once it hits 270, boom, it wants to kind of just sit and hang out at the bottom. And once it, of course, moves its way up, it wants to go above 3. So, sitting there at 270, it definitely does have the potential, in my opinion, to work towards getting above 3. As long as we don't really fall much below the 270 here for the near future, I think we'll be very, very well off. When we check the relative strength index, you guys can see here on the screen, it looks as if we're right around the middle, perhaps a little bit below because we're near the bottom here of this consolidation region. But in general, the relative strength index here is looking pretty stable. And that, of course, is because there is no excessive volume. You guys can see here in terms of volume, it was definitely higher, a good few days ago. It was definitely higher, at least double of what it is right now. So, really back in late October, that volume did have a massive surge. So the relative strength index has shown us that we do have some headroom. If we want to move near the top of this line of consolidation, we can move maybe to the 290 mark, the 295, without having a lot of issues. And of course, if we want to move towards the bottom, we definitely have a little bit more to go. You can maybe stretch this line of consolidation down to 270, but I wouldn't push it more than that. If we look at the Fibonacci retracement, which I always like to do, it is going to tell us, of course, exactly everything we need to know about the high and the low of the most recent run here. So we have the bottom here, which is right around 270, and the top, which is right around 3. Exactly what I said, so not too bad here. And then you guys can see we are bouncing off the bottom here multiple times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So it definitely does seem to not want to get below 270. Again, it could if we're not careful, but I definitely do see 270 kind of being the main sort of line of support here. It looks as if it failed to sort of sustain anything on the 23.6% line or the 38.2% line. It failed to sustain any of that. It did look like it had maybe some potential to hang out above the 78.6% line. So, we could, in theory, kind of bounce around here if that is possible. I do suppose we could bounce on this line here if things improved a little bit and we started to consolidate a little bit higher in this region here in the near future. When we check the MACD, you guys can see it is giving us a sort of sell sign here, but again, this isn't always the end-all be-all because it's using a lot of indicators that are not particularly indicative of something like the head and shoulders pattern. It's not necessarily taking patterns like this, existing patterns like this, into account. So, the MACD is helpful, but to a degree, to a limit. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more daily Decentraland videos. Let me know down below in the comments where you guys see Decentraland in around a week. So with that being said, my name is Matt. I'll see you guys on the next one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.